You are listening to the IU Report with Grant Shouse and Mike Hutsell. We had kind of planned to have a basketball IU report this week, but there was no way we were going to be talking basketball after what happened in the football game on Saturday. We did talk a little basketball toward the end, but most of the time we spent on this just incredible story of a football team. Grant, Mike, and I will be back on Friday to preview the Indiana-Iowa game and then finish out the week on Saturday with a reaction to IU improving to 5-0 with a win at Iowa. Please join us for all of them. And here's the host of the IU Report, Grant Shouse.
What more can we really say since our reaction podcast on Sunday? It was a great win, it was good momentum, and they just got to be able to carry that into this week.
It's crazy to think, even in the second year of the Curt Cignetti era, everybody is talking about Indiana football right now. I mean, that's just how resound that beatdown was on Saturday. People wanted to, it was a cute story last year. I'm sure they'll go back to be an 8-4 maybe team at best this year, but I don't think people were prepared for the fact that this team could actually be better than it was last year. Now, I said that, but I also said that they could be a better team this year and go 9-3, which is still a possibility. But just the awakening to this Indiana program, reawakening, if you will, because people fell asleep on them again in the preseason. It's because they didn't play nobody. It's just wild. I mean, everybody from, you even have the Reese Davises of the world who are normally so quick to dismiss and go on his SEC tirade. He's on board. Brandon Walker, who thinks for Barstool, who thinks Indiana is just a complete and utter joke all of last year. And he says this is a real deal.
Well, he thinks he's the face of college football media, and he's not. But
boy, that's a rough face if that's the case.
Mike, you said IU could go 9-3. I saw the team on Saturday, and I look at the schedule, and I don't see any way they can lose or more than 2 games. I mean, obviously Oregon and Penn State, but I mean, Iowa, they're not losing this game. Come on.
Look, if you want to just look up the Webster's dictionary version of a trap game, that's what this one is. I mean, you've got everything coming, everybody talking about you. You're coming off that huge high of a win on Saturday night. You're going into your bye week knowing that coming out of the bye week, you go to Oregon, who's going to be a top 4 or 5 team after they beat Penn State, maybe top 2, because I have zero trust in James Franklin, but that's another podcast for another day. This is a trap game, and this game scares me more than the Illinois game ever did. It's at Kinnick. Iowa's not going to beat itself. I was Iowa, man. They're good. They're sound. They're fundamental. They've got a really, really good O-line, probably the Big Ten's best if you go by statistics and Pro Football Focus grades. So you just know there's going to be a bit of a letdown maybe at the start, and you don't want to get behind against Iowa because Iowa's not going to beat itself.
And we know that Kinnick Stadium is a house of horrors for Indiana over the years, particularly in 2021.
Want to clarify, he said horrors.
Horrors, yes. Not horrors. House of horrors. And, I mean, think about the 2021 game. I sent you guys the link to the highlights, and I told you guys last night I was reliving the trauma. Well, I did. I relived the trauma, and I came up with some notes here. I'd like to remind people of what happened the last time Indiana played out at Kinnick Stadium, which is the last time Indiana's played Iowa.
As a top 20 team, mind you.
Yes. Indiana was, I think, it was either, they were 17 and 18. I can't remember who was who, but it doesn't matter. The game started off with Tyler Goodson, of all people. Tyler freaking Goodson with a long run on the opening drive for a touchdown. Riley Moss, 2 pick sixes in the first half for Iowa. Michael Penix for Indiana, who's the quarterback, throws 3 interceptions in the first half.
That sounds familiar.
Iowa had so much NFL talent. Spencer Petras was a really good quarterback. Tyler Goodson, who all of the Colts fans listening to this remember is the guy who dropped the ball against the Texans going in to score a couple years ago. Then Sam Laporta, who's, a top 10 tight end in the league. You laughing?
Top 3 tight end in the league, maybe.
Sure. He's a great tight end. It's tight end you there at Iowa. And then you have guys Tyrone Tracy, and Charlie Jones, who both played at Purdue later in their career. But Tyrone Tracy plays for the New York Giants now. He was on that Iowa team. You had Tyler Linderbaum, who was the center who went on and played in the NFL.
Let's not for the Ravens.
Yeah, but let's not forget that Indiana was so bad that year. They went 2-10. They were god awful. It was the season opener. And the one thing I noticed, and I've kind of noticed is rewatching some of the Tom Allen era and comparing it to what we have now, is that the staff then, last time Indiana played Iowa, was so content, I think, I don't know about doing the bare minimum, but when they would hold a team to a field goal on a drive, that was something to celebrate about. We're not doing that anymore. And Indiana is just much more consistent in how they approach things now. So it's a house of horrors on Saturday. This will be a challenge. And I was gonna say it too. You took the words out of my mouth, and that it was the textbook definition of a trap game. And that Indiana's got to go on the road and kind of I think Indiana and Iowa really have the weirdest dynamic in the Big Ten for some reason. Like whenever they get together, and no matter what sport it is, like it never. I feel like Iowa's dominated Indiana every freaking time I've seen them play each other, even in basketball.
3 touchdowns.
And you're right. I think Indiana's going to win the game. But I don't think it'll be as easy as last week. I think
it will not.
It will not. And I wouldn't be surprised if I think the next easiest game Indiana's going to play is UCLA. Michigan State is not very good, but we're putting the cart before the horse.
Oregon sucks.
No, Oregon's pretty good. But this one will be a challenge on Saturday. But Cignetti and them last Saturday proved to me that there's no reason to worry before a game.
Guys. That coaching staff is so good.
I know. And they give me no reason to worry because they come out and they do what they need to do. They've already watched Iowa. I guarantee you they already have the game plan. They've had the game plan. They know what they're doing. And I'm not worried, but I'm not going to go on the record and say that it's going to be an easy 63-10 game again. I think it'll be a lot closer than that.
Well, how about Cignetti in his presser today coming out and saying, we know this one's going to be a tough game, unlike that last one. Geez, we knew that was going to be easy.
I noticed today in his presser, he was a little, I think he was a little irritated with some of the questions. And I think a part of it was he dived into the film against Illinois on Sunday, probably late Saturday night, and realized that there were some things that he didn't like. And you got to have complacency in terms of, yeah, it was a great win, but we can't get our heads too big here. We got to it was a great win. It was a great win for the program. It was a great win for the fan base, the university, but it's over. I mean, tomorrow on Tuesday, time to forget about Illinois and start really diving in and talking about Iowa. And I know we will in our preview, and I will.
Plus, as I've been saying for the last 3 weeks, Illinois is a joke.
Yes. Is Iowa as big?
Iowa's not a joke.
Okay.
Kirk Ferentz is not a joke.
Yes. He is the Big Ten's Bud Osmond. He is not a joke.
That is correct.
He is a good football coach.
Don't take it seriously. They'll beat you, but this coaching staff's too good to let that happen.
I agree. And Ferentz isn't someone that I wouldn't have a problem, using the porta potty after him as compared to Bert last week, I really,
less of a problem. Let's put it that way.
Sure.
Less of a problem.
Hey, man, he's out in Iowa, man. That's going to be awful corny coming out.
That is correct. And Iowa is one state that is in our neighborhood that I don't completely detest.
Really?
Yeah.
You take the state of Iowa seriously?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Way better than Wisconsin.
I can name one good thing.
Way better than Nebraska.
Well, I can name one good thing that Iowa has produced. Caitlin Clark. Two things. No, Tyrese Halliburton's from Wisconsin.
He played at Iowa.
Right. But Caitlin Clark, I can take her seriously.
BJ Armstrong.
Nah.
The McCaffrey boys.
Not their dad, Fran. I was just going to say, I can't take him seriously.
Not Jared Bohannon, that's for damn sure.
Ooh, Luke Recker.
Go playing, saying that name on our podcast, Greg. Go play in traffic.
Breaking down some of the stats from Saturday night. Here's a good post-game breakdown for you.
This is going to be fun.
And this is not sponsored, by the way.
It should be.
This is going
to be fun.
Yes,
These stats.
This is the Indiana-Illinois post-game breakdown presented by I Love Susie Productions. How about that?
Hey, in my guess, I don't know the exact number, was it over or under 23 and a half sacks of Luke Altman?
I think they hit the over at 27.
Because it seemed like it was 24 every freaking play.
So
surely we can get one of these like 900 data centers coming into Indiana to sponsor our stats segment. Let's Greg, get on that, please.
I'm all over it.
Hey, I put the stats together.
That's right.
Yeah,
you need a jingle too. Here's Grant with his stats.
It's like Ernie Johnson's Nito stat of the night on Inside the NBA.
Here's Grant with his IU stats. Everybody shut up and listen.
So on Saturday night, Indiana on offense, 31 first downs. Illinois, 9 first downs. And either of you interject when you have something to say, I should say.
I'll say this.
Yeah. Indiana, 18 rushing first downs. Illinois with 3. Indiana, 12 passing first downs. Illinois with 6. Illinois carried the ball 20 times. Indiana carried the ball 49 times. Net yards rushing. This is the biggest. Indiana, 312. Illinois.
I took the under.
Illinois, 1 + 1 is 2. That's how many rushing yards they had. Let that sink in.
Luke Altmaier had minus 85, is my guess.
He had most of them.
He had most of the negative yards.
Seriously, think about this. A top 10 team rushed the ball for only 2 yards. I've never seen that ever. Indiana had 3 rushing touchdowns. Illinois, of course, had none. Illinois actually gained 51 yards rushing, but they lost 49 in the process. So that's why they have 2 net yards rushing. Indiana gained 328 yards rushing. They lost 16 to bring their total to 312 net yards. Indiana had 267 net yards passing. Illinois, 159 yards passing. Indiana, who did not throw a pass after Fernando Mendoza came in the game, so his stat line is their completion, attempts, and interception line. Indiana was 21 of 23 with no interceptions. Illinois threw the ball 16 for 25 for 1 interception. Indiana had 5 passing touchdowns. Illinois only had 1, and it was a fluke.
It was real, though.
It was real.
Yeah, that's right. It was real. Indiana had 72 plays of offense. They had 72 total offensive plays. That went for 579 total yards of offense. Illinois had 45 offensive plays that went for 161 yards.
And guys,
the entire game.
IU is second in the nation in yards per game, 3rd in the nation in rushing yards per game, 5th in the nation in points allowed, and 5th in the nation in sacks.
Indiana averaged 8 yards per play. That it doesn't matter if that is passing or rushing the ball. They gained 8 yards per play. Illinois only gained 3.6. In time of possession, Indiana had the ball for 39 minutes and 43 seconds. The longest they had the ball was in the third quarter, in which they had the ball for 12 minutes and 34 seconds. Illinois only had the ball for 20 minutes and 17 seconds, and in the second half, they only had the ball for 6 minutes and 24 seconds. Illinois had that in the second half. Indiana was 8 for 11 on third down conversions. Illinois was a measly 1 for 10. Indiana was 1 for 1 on fourth down. We know what play that was. It was, in my opinion, the momentum shifter and how Indiana was able to then break it open. Illinois was 0 for 0 on fourth down. Indiana was 5 for 5 in the red zone. Illinois, of course, was 0 for 0. Solo tackles. And it's going to look like here at first, Illinois had more had a better day defensively. But when Indiana was able to control it and had the ball longer, that's why their stats look like this. Illinois with 47 solo tackles, Indiana with only 24. Assisted tackles, Illinois with 30, Indiana with 20. Illinois finished with 77 total tackles. Indiana only needed to tackle the opponent 44 times because they had the ball for most of the game. In sacks, Illinois had 2 sacks that went for 14 yards. Indiana sacked Illinois 7 times on Saturday night for a loss of 47 yards. Indiana had 10 tackles for loss that went for 53 yards. Illinois had a whopping 3 tackles for loss that went for 16 yards. Of course, Indiana only had 1 interception. Illinois had none because Indiana will not turn the ball over. Of course, a stadium attendance record, a program record at 56,088 in attendance.
Also a record for most Central Indiana Sports Report contributors at a game.
Yeah, sure. We actually set that record in the Old Dominion game.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you just tied it.
You set that over under at 1.5, and me and Grant are going to blow by it. So
that's right.
And when we get my dad on here as a special guest, I'm telling you, we're gonna hammer the over there. We're
always welcome. Plus, producer Susie and I have been talking about going and catching a game. Although I don't know that we're going to be able to now because I have a feeling the rest of the games are going to be sold out.
They are sold out. They already are.
And even on the secondary market, it's going to be impossible ticket to get. Whoever thought, Mike, IU football, the hottest ticket in town?
It's the second hottest ticket. You can retire if you can get your hands on an IU parking pass for a game day.
Yeah. Yep.
It's like a New York City taxi gold medallion.
He ain't wrong, man.
People murder for it.
Here's the one stat line that kind of jumped out to me. Who do you think? Let me ask you guys, and you guys may already know this. Mike probably already knows this. Greg may not. If I had told you before the game that Indiana's leading rusher was going to be Kobe Martin, would you believe me?
Yeah, probably, but only because I thought the game was going to be 63-10.
That's true.
And also, I think Kobe Martin's shown that he's a serious back in the rotation. Should be. And will be now, for sure.
Oh, yeah. He had 107 yards, 2 touchdowns, 12 carries, averaged 9 yards a play. Illinois, I was going to try and really dive into that on who their leading rusher was, but I just wrote down, does it really matter? Because they only gained 2 yards. Receiving-wise, of course, Indiana was led by Elijah Surratt, 9 catches, 10 targets, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns. Illinois with Colin Dixon, 4 catches on 8 targets, 86 yards, and 1 real touchdown. Indiana was led tackle-wise by a guy I'm sure we'll talk about on here because of his situation, Lewis Moore, 5 solo tackles, 1 assisted tackle, 6 total.
So good.
Illinois was led by Matthew Bailey, 6 solo tackles for 3 assisted tackles for 9 total. And here's the stat that we talked about last week, and I'll have more of this stat for you when we preview Iowa. Illinois only snapped the ball 5 times inside IU territory on Saturday night.
So is it over 30 for the season?
It is now at 30.
At 30.
It is at 30 now.
Just an incredible stat, guys.
And think about this, Grant. 4 of those were on the field goal drive.
Yep.
Where they dropped a pick 6.
Yep.
On that drive where that could have been 6 the other way for Indiana.
Unreal. And Indiana on Saturday night, this is the final stat I got for you. Indiana snapped the ball in Illinois territory 49 times.
What's the total for the year?
Indiana's? What's 95 plus 49?
144.
There you go. 144.
Anybody skills?
I may be wrong.
It's all right. It's something like 144 to 30.
Yeah, it's something ridiculous.
Ridiculous, whatever it is. Just want to remind everyone that we will briefly be talking about the basketball team coming up here in a minute. We have a new player coming to Bloomington, and we have not yet talked about the schedule, but I want to say that
not much to talk about.
During the bye week, we will break down the schedule and make predictions, see what we think is going to happen week by week. But we're going to talk about it briefly here after we're done talking about football, and this could go on a while.
Another fan event also announced that we haven't really talked about for the basketball team. They're really going out of their way to reconnect with fans.
Good to hear. Great. There will be tons and tons of IU basketball talk on the IU report going forward. We planned on doing it this week, but is there really much to talk about besides football?
No.
I mean, no.
We have a lifetime worth of IU football to talk about right now, Mike. Is we haven't gotten to talk this much about success in our entire lives.
No, I mean, I'm still picturing Alex Smith running for 2.3 yards per carry again in Cam Cameron's first year at the helm, and Indiana running fake plays where the guys are pretending to tie their shoes and snapping the ball over the quarterback's head. I mean, these are memories I have of a football program, and if it's not ever happened, that Indiana football is the talk of college football, and we're going to talk about Indiana football. I mean, it's a football school.
We've got to. I've started to think about this, Greg. Like, I can't imagine doing the IU report if Indiana football sucks.
It's difficult doing the Purdue report sometimes.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
but they're better. They got Barry.
Barry Lombardi.
Yeah.
It is a bye week for Purdue football, so we will definitely be talking about Purdue basketball on the Purdue report this week if anyone wants to join us. Talk about the best team in the country.
Houston? Well, by the way, that reminds me of a Bruce Pearl story I need to tell you guys in honor of him retiring today. You guys probably see this every time Indiana has a vacancy open for its basketball program at the head coaching slot. There's names that slide through every time.
Of course,
Steve Alford. Steve Alford is the main one. He will never come to Indiana. Personally, don't want
Dan Dockich, of course.
Personally, don't want Alford to come to Indiana. Brad Stevens, another. Rick Pitino. And another one that's, I think, on the Mount Rushmore of names that are always floating around amongst IU fans.
He might be a mountain to himself, Grant.
Is Bruce Pearl.
That's right.
Bruce Pearl is one of those names that Indiana fans just fall in love with when there's a coaching vacancy.
They all remember the Chad Gilbert shot, Mike. I was going to say, one of my best friends played for Gilbert, for Pearl, so you're never going to hear me say anything bad about the guy.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
And I've met Bruce Pearl, and he's a really nice guy. But that's
the best.
Me not meeting him is not the story. Or me meeting him is not the story.
Okay. Him running you over in the parking lot, is that the story?
That was Archie Miller. So this was last basketball. And I'm not going to call anyone. I'm not going to call anyone out here by name. But if they're listening, they'll know who they are. Last basketball season, it was at the Grant 4.
Named after you.
Sure. And it was at Oak Hill, so it's in a familiar place where I went to school. So I know a lot of the people who come to the games and stuff. And my job for the radio that day is I was working sidelines. And so I would interview our coaches live, like at halftime before the game down on the floor. My job was to walk around with a mic, and then even, during the game, something happened, of course. I could hear them. I had a little earbud. I could hear them. And they would send it down to me to tell them what I saw or if I heard what was going on in the huddle. That doesn't really matter. So during the day, I'm moving around the gym kind of on the floor level from different angles watching the games. And this one guy I know who is a very nice man, and I will do my best to not name drop him. Very nice guy, IU fan, comes down and he sits. And this is at the point where we kind of know that maybe a change is coming within the program with Mike Woodson. We knew that there was probably going to be a new coach next year. And so we start talking, and he's like, well, you've heard about Bruce Pearl, right? And I'm like, well, what about Bruce Pearl? He goes, oh, well, it's in his contract at Auburn that if that Indiana job comes open, he has to take it. It's in his contract at Auburn. I said, really? Oh, yeah, it's in his contract. I can't believe you ain't seen that. I said, it's in Bruce Pearl's contract at Auburn that if the Indiana job comes open, he has to take it. He must take it. He goes, yeah. He goes, I can't believe, Grant, you of all people haven't heard that. And I go, well, I mean, it'd be interesting. I was just like, it'd be interesting. And so I told my dad that story, and we crack up every time talking about it because that guy is just, he don't know what he's talking about. You kind of got to know who this guy is to really think if it's funny. So today when I heard he retired, I honestly was not shocked because Bruce Pearl's talked about going to be a U.S. senator, or people have floated the idea of him being a senator, kind of like Tommy Tuberville. It's probably what'll happen. And when I heard it, I go, oh, well, that makes sense now. He didn't get the Indiana job. They gave it to DeVries, and so he was like, I'm done. I'm not coaching anymore. I didn't get the Indiana job.
Nice.
Because of this dude in Swayze, Indiana says it was it was in his contract. He had to take the IU job, Greg. He had to take the Indiana job if it came open. And
I believe
they gave it to F and Darian DeVries.
I believe every word. Greg hasn't really disclosed yet, but if anything happens with Travis and the New Heights podcast opens, I have to take it. I have to go join. I have to go join Jason and jump in there. So it's in my podcast deal with Central Indiana Sports Report.
And if Taylor Swift finally chops that dude's balls off or something, then I completely understand why Mike Hutsell, Greg, would have to leave the IU report on the and it would be really tough for him to leave the NHL report. Really hard.
We don't want it to happen, but if it comes open, it has to.
The weirdest part is it's actually in Taylor's prenup with Travis. When he leaves the New Heights, I move into the New Heights podcast. And if things dissolve with Travis and Taylor, I get to marry Taylor. It's the weirdest thing. It's in their prenup. I don't get it. I don't know why they went that route. I wasn't consulted on this.
I get exactly what Taylor sees in you, Mike. I'm sure she wrote that in there herself.
It's just his love for the NHL. She's hit the NFLs. It's right for the NHL now.
If she's looking for what's in me, it's a lot of carbs. That's all I can say.
Let's talk a little basketball, and then we'll finish up with a little more football. And what can you tell me about the newest Hoosier, Chase Branham?
Well, I think he's a 4-star recruit. I think it's really cool. He had probably the coolest commitment video. I'm sure you saw that video, Mike, of him.
Yeah, I saw.
Telling Darian DeVries that he was coming, and DeVries just wrapped him up in a bear hug. And I mean, it's obviously a promising sign getting a high recruit like that for Indiana, but it's an even better sign when your head coach reacts like that. I mean, as corny as that can be to some people, as kind of cringy as that can be, I think that's a really good sign that you got a coach who cares and wants to be successful, wants the team to be successful. That's a really good sign. I'm glad that dude's coming, and I think it'll work out for him. You don't want Liam McNeely situation where he commits and then, he decommits. But I think Indiana's going to have it rolling in the right direction, and that's not going to happen.
Cool to see him commit on the visit too. That's kind of a big thing, I think. Like,
that's pretty rare for a lot of kids.
It's very, very rare to see it happen. So for him to just say, "Yep, this is where I'm going to be" while he's there, that's a pretty good sign, I think, for D.
And Indiana's got some more recruits coming up, and we mentioned about how in the preseason, so many opportunities for the fans to see this team doing the red and white scrimmage, the thing down on Kirkwood, your 2 exhibition games against Pat Knight and Marion, and then Baylor there at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, and then they're having the what, like the trunk or treat thing or whatever it is.
The Haunted Hall of Hoops, which is a return from the Tom Crean era. And it's pretty neat. I've seen some photos and stuff. My cousins were took their kids there quite a bit during the Crean era. It's just kind of a way to connect with younger fans, to get them excited, because if you got a 5-6-year-old kid, they don't really give a rip about Indiana basketball, but hey, it might be cool to be down there on the court and get candy from some guy who's going to be on your television 30 times a year.
Exactly.
These larger than life individuals that you don't ever really see in person when you're that age. Some 7-foot guy is going to come give me a Snickers bar. That creates memories for kids. It's like this. Hey, that was really, really cool. Let's do that again next year. And then you do.
And I don't.
More of this stuff.
I don't necessarily remember it happening with the Crean era. I don't remember them doing that there because my parents obviously didn't take me, because I didn't have the fandom I have now. I didn't have the fandom until I was about 2nd grade, and back then you didn't hear about that stuff like you do now. And so it is a cool thing. It's a cool thing to get the young kids involved again. Like Mike's talked about, that the Hoops on Kirkwood or whatever it's called is the target demographics kind of for the college age students. I think your red and white scrimmage is for kind of everybody, especially kind of the older people there in Bloomington. It's free kind of for the locals to come out. It's on a Friday night, come out and watch the red and white scrimmage, watch the men's and the women's teams scrimmage each other. And that's cool that they're targeting this all for kind of all generations, I think, of Indiana basketball fans. Now, I can tell you this, for the haunted halls of hoops or whatever it is, the trick or treat thing, I will not be there. I will not be dressed up as Kurt Signetti or whatever. I will not be dressed up in a zombie outfit or whatever down there trying to get candy from Tucker DeVries.
Very disappointed in this.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I'm just really upset.
And the thing is I really thought about it because I thought you'd want a reaction, Greg. I really thought you'd want a reaction from the haunted halls of hoops. But I've decided I will not be participating.
We were going to do a reaction podcast, and I guess now we're not.
I thought, and I was proposing it off air, that Grant and I were going to go as Mario and Luigi for this. We thought we texted about this, Grant. I'm heartbroken.
I know
by this news.
I'm sorry, Mike.
What about Lloyd Christmas and
Greg was going to be Toad?
That's fitting.
Who was going to be Princess Peach? Susie?
Yeah, Susie, of course. I thought this was a group effort. Maybe John Robertson, somebody. Grant ruined everything.
All right, guys. Again, we're going to talk more about the Indiana basketball schedule during the bye week, but I do want to point out that we now know that the Big Ten schedule starts at Minnesota, and then they play Louisville at home on the 6th. That's not at home. That's in Indianapolis, right?
Yes. It's a game.
And then Penn State at home on the 9th, and then at Kentucky. So really important early December. And then the January schedule starts with Washington at home. And as I'm sure everyone's interested in knowing, January 27th, Purdue is at IU, and February 20th, IU at Purdue.
Thoughts?
One of those, I think the at Purdue game is a Friday night game.
Mm-hmm. It is.
No weekend games this year for the Indiana-Purdue series.
And the IU game is like on a Tuesday.
It is on a Tuesday. It's usually a Saturday and Tuesday, but now it's a Friday and a Tuesday apparently. Grant will probably be calling a game.
It's honestly, I don't think it matters when you play them. Just try and go win. I mean, it's good to know what order you're playing your teams in, but I believe it's in mid-January that they have their West Coast trip where they're going to go out and play USC and UCLA. And the Big Ten really, I was a little skeptical on how they were going to schedule that, but the Big Ten does a good job at kind of scheduling around that. So it's not like you're going out to UCLA in the beginning of December and then you go back out to USC in like late February. You know, you're going to play them back to back on the same trip.
They do a great job of it if you're in the Eastern time zone, but man, does UCLA, USC, Washington, and Oregon take it on the chin.
Yes, they do. Back. Yes, they do. They got to get that figured out. They got to get divisions and don't get. Let's not talk about the Big Ten.
Yeah.
Last question, guys, before we go. Over or under 15% chance IU wins a national championship this year in football?
What'd you say? The percent? I was gonna say I'm not touching that one yet. I want to talk about. I'm gonna tease something for the Iowa preview pod. I've got the most important player in the game, and I guarantee you it's not somebody you think it is.
Great tease. Everybody join us on Friday for the IU Iowa preview. Another time. Hoosiers by 3 touchdowns.
Please stop singing.
My life is a musical, Mike.
Do I hit stop?
Thanks so much to Grant and Mike for joining the Central Indiana Sports Report. Sorry, I'm an idiot. And thank you for listening. Please do us a huge favor and share this podcast with an IU fan in your life and help spread the word that the Central Indiana Sports Report is here talking about Central Indiana sports every single day. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media. And I love Susie.